everybody. I have 3 minutes before my group coaching. So I wanted to go live really quick and talk about how people say that salespeople should just shut up and listen, and why this is some flawed advice. So the reason is that when you just shut up and listen, you're giving the imitation of listening instead of actually listening. So you're just kind of waiting for your chance to say something that's selling whatever you're selling instead of hearing them. So there's a difference between listening and hearing. So listening, a lot of times in sales, you'll just parrot back whatever they said, but hearing allows you to hear what they're saying and what they're not saying. And as a result, you can ask a follow-up question that's insightful. So, for example, I love the pasta metaphor, right? So, if you're in a pasta store and you tell someone and you tell the salesperson like, "I really like spicy and I really like red meat with my pasta." And they're like, "Okay, so you like spicy and red meat with your pasta." And you're like, "Yeah, that's what I just said." Or they could be like, "Okay, so does that mean that you usually like red wine with your pasta too?" Then it's like, "Oh shit, that person was listening to me." So that's what I mean by actually hearing them and hearing what they're not saying. So in another instance where somebody's, you know, let's talk about real estate service. Like, so they're going to ask, what do you negotiate, like a realtor, like, what do you negotiate for your sellers? Do you negotiate like certain allowances or whatever? And you would say, is that because you've had an experience where somebody didn't do that, or is there like a specific allowance that you're looking for, like maybe for a remodel or something? This is if it's a buyer, not a seller. Sorry if that's confusing for anyone. But you know what I mean? Like asking questions instead of just assuming why they're asking the question or parroting back exactly what they said is going to help you sell a lot better. And it's going to make the prospect trust you a lot more because you're taking it a step further than just, "I'm listening, and here, let me tell you why my service is so great." Or, "Here, I would recommend, you know, so like for example in the pasta store when it's like, "Oh, so you probably like red wine." If they're like, "No, I like white wine actually," then you'd be like, "Okay, great. So this is the one that I would recommend if you liked red wine, and this is the one I would recommend if you like white wine with your pasta." So you'd be explaining that there's a difference between the two, and based on their goal, that's what you would suggest. And it feels like you're taking care of them a lot more and that they trust you much more because of that. So, yeah, don't just shut up and listen, but hear for what they're saying and asking and what they're not saying and clarify instead of assuming. Okay, this was a really quick one. I hope you guys have an amazing day and sell lots of business. And you should join my group coaching. All right.